What's the boogeyman?
There's no such thing.
Total cost of just $320,000, Halloween opened in limited release.
When it is so cheap, you get worried. How can they make a movie of $300,000?
It kept on going up and up and up.
Don't underestimate it.
Everybody was surprised by its success. And it didn't succeed right away.
It didn't cost that much money, which is constantly continues to sell. I don't think there's another film like it.
The film was a box office hit, and it paved the way for a seemingly unstoppable series of sequels.
Evil never dies. You can't kill it.
I said, man, what are they doing a sequel for?
Halloween seems to never die.
I want to do a horror film. So I started to think about how to do this for the limited amount of money we had.
We were kids back then in '78. People were giving us some money. We were going out and playing. We had a huge sandbox to play in.
The word Halloween, in as much as we could research, not only had not been used, but even the word had not been used as part of another title in the history of the movie business. Now that's an interesting thing.
Let's make a horror film about babysitters who are stalked by this psychotic killer.
Halloween is loaded with scares, suspense scares. Hopefully not grisly or gory, but suspenseful, making people on the edge of their seats.
Psycho is the granddaddy of these kind of movies. That's the first modern horror film. Took horror out of Gothic castles and European romanticism.
We shot a 20-day schedule, 4 weeks. Everybody did everything. It's harder to ask a stranger for a favor or to work for free or to work for very little money. So we really asked our friends to help us make this picture. Donald was completely surprised when he arrived here from England that we were so young and we were such a small crew.
The Steadicam, it was a brand new device, and it allowed us to smoothly sort of move the camera wherever a guy could walk. And John said he wanted to use that as the opening shot.
Here's a guy who's a sociopath. He killed his sister when he was like 6 years old on Halloween night, dressed as a clown.
John used the camera, as we know, as the character, Michael. So the camera becomes Michael moving in.
We are alone, aren't we?
Michael's around someplace.
When I found out that John was going to be shooting Halloween, pretty close to my house, actually, I went down there and asked if I could stick around the set. And he said, okay, fine, but as long as you're going to be here, why don't you do something? And he said, go here, put this on, and you'll be the guy running around with, be the killer.
John sent me out to find the perfect mask, or to create the perfect mask for the movie, and it was simply to be a kind of a blank face.
We didn't have any money to make a mask. It was originally written the way you see it. In other words, it's a pale mask with human features, almost featureless. He got this William Shatner Star Trek mask, and he cut the eye holes out a little bit bigger so they weren't like this, they were rounder. That's the one.
It created a shiver right in the room, and we knew we had something special.
The distribution was not on a national level, it was just town by town. He was really very good at that, selling it theater by theater, town by town, city by city.
It wasn't until the picture opened at the Chicago Film Festival that we realized we had a critical and commercial success on our hand. The picture was reviewed wonderfully, and the audiences were just lined up around the block.
The next day, I got a phone call. They were double. The next day, they were triple. By the weekend, they were 10 times.
Well, it's a big hit. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. I had no idea.
And the rest, as they say, is Hollywood history.
First of the horror movies. You know, everything came after that. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Created a whole industry of slasher films. From Friday the 13th, and any holiday wasn't safe anymore. You know, you had New Year's Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night, April Fool's Day. It should also add that a lot of mainstream movies, I think, imitated the slasher tropes, films like Fatal Attraction and Sleeping with the Enemy.
You can't argue with the fact that since Halloween got made and all these imitators, Friday the 13th and all the others came along, horror movies had changed.
Halloween would launch a whole new subgenre of horror.
And I had thought of this title some time ago called Friday the 13th.
And Sean called me up and said, Halloween is making incredible money at the box office, let's rip it off. That is keeping it real.
Finally, I turned to my partners and I said, this is nuts. We've got to make another Halloween.
In Halloween 2, Deborah Hill and John Carpenter do the cheapest thing just to throw a little whammy in the movie, and they make it that Laurie and Michael Myers are brother and sister.
That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
And that taints every single Halloween sequel that happens afterwards.
He wanted to do a picture called The Fog. And I said, sure, let's do Fog. We'll do Fog first, then we'll talk about Halloween 2. And we agreed to do that.
I will say that what got me through writing that script was Budweiser, 6-pack of beer a night, sitting in front of the typewriter saying, what in the hell can I put down?
He didn't want to repeat himself, and I respected him for that.
I have no idea. We're remaking the same film, only not as good.
When the script came back to me and I read it, and I just hated it.
I personally was not too pleased with the script when I got it. I just felt that they were abandoning the essence of the character.
It felt like everything that Halloween was not.
I don't like that story.
Halloween 1 was original, and it was innovative and creative, and Halloween 2 was, by its very nature, imitative and pedestrian.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
It's not a real sequel. It's not going to have anything to do with the other two. I went, I'm in.
Let's make a horror story, but without Michael Myers.
The decision not to use the Michael Myers character was stupid.
We tried it. It failed.
I take no responsibility for Halloween 3 or credit.
We thank Don Post for 2 of the 3 masks. The witch and the skull already existed, and we collaborated on the pumpkin, but I figured out the rationale for Halloween 3 is that that's what the mask maker is calling these 3 masks. I shoehorned that into the whole makeup of the thing. Just a desperate director wanting to make his movie make sense.
Sequels are an expectation by the audience of a continuation of the characters they loved. And I think packaging it as presumably a sequel was disappointing to the audience.
It did not stay in the movie theaters for longer than maybe a week. It did not do very well.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
So on 4, I took it over and went back to the basics of number 1.
Mustafa, he's like Mr. Halloween.
I preserve its continuity. I preserve its element. I will keep doing it. Going back to the basic elements of 1, we always go back to the basics.
The connection between Halloween 1 and all the sequels, in my opinion, is invalid.
We decided only to reference the first movie, and I think the reason was we didn't want to get sort of tied up with a lot of logic police questions about Michael and exactly what happened to Dr. Loomis, but exactly what happened at the end of the hospital.
Mustafa Akkad has kept the franchise alive because he believes in it. Everybody wanted to do it except me. God bless all of you here, but no thanks.
Halloween 5 definitely was rushed into production. They tried to capture that same lightning in a bottle that they got on 4.
We got 5, we had a partial screenplay, brought in a new writer, got another version of it. We actually started filming without a completed screenplay.
Loomis is fucking horrible.
They didn't want me to study any of the Michael Myers before because they didn't want me to have a preconceived notion.
I was bummed out that George wasn't going to be back, but I was so excited to go. And then I met Don, and he immediately bonded with me. That shot, I always go, oh, Michael's just sitting in jail. I mean, I don't know. There could have been a better ending.
Everybody gives the ending of Halloween 5 shit. I really like that. You climb in the
And breaking
casket.
out of, oh yeah.
The ending of 5, I think similarly to 4, what they were probably trying to get was some kind of cliffhanger ending, that would try and bring the fans back. But I think it wasn't successful. Well, after Halloween 5, which still did pretty well, but it wasn't as successful as 4 at the box office, I think everyone sort of took a step back and wanted to reassess where things were. And
They've just denied October 31st for the last 6 years. Well, what's happened this year is they've decided, forget about it. We're bringing Halloween back.
in retrospect, I really wish that my father hadn't relented, but you know, you had a release date, you had a lot of money invested in the film, and the version that went out was the Weinstein's version. We got the support of my father and the Weinsteins, and the idea was, let's really make this something special. And so the budget was upped, and the idea was, let's get Jamie Lee Curtis back.
I knew that after finishing Halloween 2, that I couldn't do another horror film, or I would have no opportunities.
I think it was Bob who approached her.
And I did it out of loyalty to the fans of Halloween.
It was a fresh crack at this, and it could sort of pick up from where Jamie's work had left off earlier.
As far as I'm concerned, I want the movie to be very much like the first movie. I don't think anybody here is a big star. I don't think anybody's acting like one. The budget is a reasonable budget. It's not big budget. If anything, this will be much more like the first movie than any of the subsequent ones.
I think it took the series to a new level and opened it to audiences who had not been coming to the previous 3 films, maybe. Really put it out there in the mainstream.
There was a line around the block for the 8 o'clock showing on this Wednesday, and it was for Halloween H20.
It does what a slasher movie's supposed to do. Hit you fast, hard, and early, and leave you having had a good time.
I guess in adjusted dollars, H2O was the most successful film to date, but it's still, none of the films have exceeded the original Halloween in terms of just pure profit.
The filmmakers, and certainly Jamie, tried to stylistically keep it as close to the original as possible.
Action.
Hello, Michael. You know, Laurie obviously has changed over the years. It's not like she's this little repressed virgin anymore. I mean, she's a weathered, tired, beaten down human being because of all of the things she has suffered through.
I think it closes the chapter on Laurie Strode once and for all, which I think anybody who's a Halloween devotee would find that very satisfying, just to have that come full circle.
I think you need to end that Halloween story before you go into the new Halloween story, which is, I think, tremendously successful.
Your Halloween movie that Rob Zombie remade.
Just want to know how you feel about Rob Zombie's version of Halloween.
Did you like it?
Next question.
I think the basic mindset they had was every director and every actor is an idiot, and the movie can only be good if we save it because everyone in this town is stupid but us. And that's how they would approach everything.
I do not, however, particularly applaud Rob Zombie.
He lied about me. He said I was very cold to him when he told me I was going to, and that he was going to make it. Nothing could be further from the truth.
I just feel so bad for Rob. I mean, I just felt so bad for him with the shit that he had to go through with the studio, and it was so hard to watch something that he loved so much just put such a bad taste in his mouth.
I said, make it your own movie, man. You know, this is yours now. Don't worry about me.
I don't want any cameos. I feel like, in a way, as soon as we start doing that, it's almost like you're sending a message like you're not taking your own film seriously.
I was incredibly supportive. Why that piece of shit lied, I don't know. He had no reason to. Why did he do it?
When Bob watched the movie, when it was done, this is how he calls me and goes, I hate every single fucking frame of this movie. My phone was ringing all the time when I'm on set working, and it'd be like, we think it should be this. I'm like, well,
while you're working?
Yeah, well, if I did that, then everything we shot doesn't match. And it makes no sense. This is what it was like every single day.
I love the first. Okay. I think he did a great job with the first. I wouldn't change anything, really.
I thought that he took away the mystique of the story by explaining too much about the guy.
I think Rob Zombie's Halloweens are the greatest horror remakes possibly of all time.
I don't care about that. It's supposed to be a force of nature. He's supposed to be almost supernatural. Knowing about that and he was too big.
The day the movie came out, Bob calls me at 10 a.m. He goes, it doesn't look good. This thing's a fucking disaster. And then he calls me like a couple hours later. We're adding more screenings. This thing's going through the roof.
You read that you're a little exhausted after making the first one, so what
Yes.
kind of made you want to march forward for number 2?
So I came back. I go, I'll direct it if you let me out of the third picture. so I don't have to do 3 pictures. I'm the only guy who negotiates lower picture deals here. I go, let me out of the deal and I'll do it. I don't know. I'm a demented individual, I think, because it wasn't any easier than the first one. But basically, time heals all wounds, and enough time went by and I forgot.
I didn't love aspects of the second one. I wish that it would have just kind of been like Brad and me and Scout and like that storyline. I didn't like the way Loomis was in the second one. I didn't like any of that stuff.
He vilified him. It was
just weird.
So just what would you like to say to the horror fans out there about what they can expect from Halloween 2?
Well, I think they can expect the darkest, nastiest, grittiest film ever featuring Michael Myers.
Why is now the right time to put this out? 40 years later.
Wow.
Now is a good time to have a great horror movie come out.
But what makes a great horror movie is not what people think. What people think is it's the scares. But I always say, our movies should work as great dramatic pieces if you take all the scares out. I think you should definitely say that about John's Halloween.
It's something I hadn't heard of before, that nobody had thought of before. It's always better to have more money than it is to have less money. Don't kid yourself. When you have a little bit of money to make a movie, and you really want to make it, there are ways of simplifying things. That's what you have to do. Having more money and more time, oh, that's great. The greatest. Well, my feelings were disconnected from the reality. Halloween was a word-of-mouth movie, so it started very slowly. It wasn't a big success right away, and it wasn't a critical success, and it built over time.
It was something that built over, 3 or 4 months.
Well, Jamie Lee came and read for me, and she just has an innate talent, and she's beautiful and energetic, and she knew exactly how to play that role.
I knew I was going to say yes on page 4.
And I would say the same exact thing today.
I would never have thought ever in a million years that I would ultimately be sitting here talking about Laurie Strode again.
Say goodbye to Michael and get over it.
She is now Loomis. She now knows that he will come for her. What I loved about what they were doing is, first of all, they were omitting all of the other stories.
Wasn't it her brother who cold-blooded mutilated all those teenagers?
No, that's just a bit that some people made up to make him feel better, I think.
And that just made sense to me. It made it free and clear of having to explain the past.
I really dug this movie. This was a celebration of what made the original Halloween great.
You don't need all that blood and guts and gore. Create that atmosphere and you got an audience.
Like that. And I thought, oh, these people are really good. That's very clever.
And I was like, screw you, man. I'm gonna see it.
It just bit into me.
It scared the shit out of me.
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
We all are afraid of the same things. That's what makes these movies so universal.
Well, you should. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill creating a love story for the ages. Dark, twisted, violent, crazy, scary, heart-pounding, but a love story nonetheless. And I think that's the secret to why Halloween is so successful.
It definitely stands the test of time. It hasn't dated, unlike a lot of other films.
There's nothing to be scared of. Are you sure? How? I killed him.
He's in the shadows. He may be in your house. He may be in mine.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
He's everywhere. Evil still lives. He will always live.